All right, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the show. Give me just a minute, and we'll start talking about this wonderful punk rock band. Uh, yeah, give me just 1 second. I don't know why. Every time I do this, I have to say this out loud to myself, but I don't know why it does this to me. It's all right though. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm actually, I'm like almost overwhelmed at this point. I got so much crap going on that I got to take care of for punk rock bowling for this. Just in general, like just stuff I need to do. It's like, but it's okay. It's gonna be the best weekend ever, or week, whatever weekend. Um, yeah, Pedro, y'all hear my dog in here? He's being crazy. What you doing, buddy? Just partying, having a little puppy party. What's up, Dave? How you doing, buddy? All right. So I want to talk. Okay, so here's the thing. All right. Whenever I think about COCK SPARRER, I often, excuse me, think of like UK 82, like 1980s, right? I don't really know why. They were around for far longer than that. What's up, Megan? How you doing? They've been around for way longer than just the 80s. So, what I wanted to do was just celebrate COCK SPARRER a little bit today. I don't have any kind of good grief, buddy. Any kind of specific agenda or things that I want to talk about necessarily, other than just a little bit about the band, some of my favorite songs. Uh, yeah, just hype up this experience we're fixing to have on Saturday, and then I think Monday is the club show. Good grief, is the club show. So, Coxbar is a band that like literally like our closeout song on most of our streams for almost a year was Coxbar, right? So like clearly a band that I have a lot of admiration for and has done a lot for me just in my uh, daily punk rock life. I've listened to this band a lot. Now I will be honest, the albums that I've listened to the most from Coxbar, obviously Shock Troops, but also this one right here, Forever. For whatever reason, this album really stuck out to me. I like their new record; it's really good. I think it's really good. But I think most people would be lying to you if they told you that out of all the experience they had with Coxbar, that the majority of it was probably spent with Shock Troops. I would think, right? And tell me, like, I want to know what are your favorite albums because I'm going to be listening to them nonstop for the next few days, and I need to know what albums do you think I should be listening to because I always go with what's up, Charles? I always go with Shock Troops, always, right? But I also like this album. Forever is really really good. It's got maybe my second favorite Coxbar song. Here, I'm pulling up their discography because I have a terrible memory. Okay. So, Shock Troops is a perfect record, man. It's kind of unfair to even compare the records with. Their discography is, in my personal opinion, pretty flawless. Like, even their newest record came out last year. It's called Hand on Heart. It's got no bad songs on it. And I think out of all 10 songs, I think 9 of them ended up on my playlist. So I mean, and before that was 2017's Forever, as far as full length records is concerned. And there was a little bit of time where they didn't do quite as much, but man, if you're looking back at the early days of this band, let's see here. What I don't understand is how you open up your career with an album like Shock Troops. That shit is bananas to me. It's like it's a perfect record, dude. And I mean, it's their first album. I know it's ridiculous. Oh, there we go. That's a great idea, actually. Let's listen to it chronologically. That's a valid point. Two Monkeys is great. I don't know as much about that record. Um, Running Right 84, Live and Loud. Let's see. We got Rarities. Guilty as Charged is, I think, a pretty good record. Pretty good record. I mean, Because You're Young is on there, and that's a classic song, in my opinion. Um, Yeah, I think I might just start with Two Monkeys. That's probably the one I had the least amount of time with. Let's see. I'm just looking at like as much stuff as I got on here. Chip on My Shoulder. Probably a little less time with that one actually. Back Home I've got quite a bit of time with. Here We Stand I've listened to quite a bit. Yeah, I think Two Monkeys and Chip on My Shoulder. I don't even remember this. So here's the thing. Oh, it's their second album? Okay. I'm looking at. Hold on, let me pull up Wikipedia. All right. Oh, shit. They had something in Spain in 1978, huh? Shock Troops was 82. I knew that. That's why I always think of them as an 80s band, but like they were around before they were. Let's see. 1972. I'm reading off of Wikipedia, mind you. So if something's wrong, my apologies. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, dude. I'm just a fan of the band. Okay. Let me just. Here's a disclaimer before we go any further at all. 5 minutes in, of course. I'm not an expert. I'm not an authority. Just a fan. All right. I like the band. I've got a couple of shirts and a few of their records, and I've listened to them for most of my life, but I've never seen them play live, which is why I'm so excited about Punk Rock Bowling. Dude, they're aging, dude. Like, this is the opportunity for me to see them before they're done playing in America, anyways. So, I'm not trying to claim that I'm an expert on anything. So, if I get something wrong, please excuse that. Just correct me. Don't have to be a jerk about it. All right. So, East End of London from 1972. It says, although they have never enjoyed commercial success, they've helped pave the way for early 80s punk scene and oi. Their songs have been covered by many punk oi hardcore bands. You know, I guess it depends on what your definition of commercial success is. I feel like they could have probably made a fair bit of money playing this music. Now, are they rich? I don't think they're rich by any stretch of the imagination. But were they able to pay their bills? I don't know. Were they? Do you think they were able to pay some bills playing this music? That's, in my opinion, if you're paying your bills, you're commercially successful. It says their style is influenced by pub rock, glam rock, and 1960s raw beat music as delivered by bands like The Small Faces and The Who. That's actually pretty obvious when you break it all down. Their lyrics mostly deal with topics related to the daily lives of working class people. Their name derives from their original name, Cock Sparrow, which I did actually know, a Cockney term of familiarity. So is that just like the homies? I don't know what it means, but I knew their name used to be Cock Sparrow, or at least it was gonna be. Man, I would love to talk to some of these guys. But so let's see. They got, wow, these guys have known each other since they were little bitty kids, dude. This is crazy. That's so awesome, man. That is so cool. So, oh, they met with Malcolm McLaren. I didn't know that. Maybe I didn't. I think I did know that actually. It's just something I wouldn't have been able to remember unless I'd read it again. Uh, Man, can you imagine what the difference would have been in their career if they were managed by the same dude that managed the Sex Pistols? Because I think they're an infinitely better band than the Sex Pistols, but they didn't have that one big push. I think Shock Troops is better than Nevermind the Bollocks. Whew. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen them. Christmas 13 says, "You're in for a treat. Seen a handful of times, and they put on a great show. Sing along anthem after sing along anthem." That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing like the whole time it's just going to be a crowd sing along. I'm filming this, so like, or what's up, Dylan? I get to bring my camera in because I'm part of the press at Punk Rock Bowling. I can't wait to see this, dude. Now the club shows it's a little tricky. I'm not sure if my press credentials are gonna have them allow me in with my camera. I'm gonna see if they will. I kind of think it just depends on who's there. But if I have my phone with me and that's all I've got, then I'll try to film some with my phone. But during the actual festival, so like Interrupters, Bouncing Souls, Bullshit Detector, Social Distortion, COCK SPARRER, Peter Hook. Those are all going to be filmed with my Sony A6100. So Malcolm Burnout, the Pistols, and COCK SPARRER are still here. Facts, bro. 100%, Charles. You're absolutely correct. My point is that I think that if they had a push from somebody with that kind of like leverage, they might have been able to really become big because their music is, if you think about it, Sex Pistols were like snotty, just like antagonistic punk rock guys, right? But Cock Sparrer was like the anthem for the working man. There's more working men than there are punk rockers. I'm sorry, it just is a fact. So I think if they had had that push from a management team that could have gotten them out there in the ears of people on the radio and such, they could have been huge. I mean, do you think that they're any less inspiring than, say, Bruce Springsteen? I don't think so. Different music, but I'm saying like they're all working class music. Bob Dylan, I think Cock Sparrer fits in with that stuff. So, you know, Dylan says, love Cock Sparrer. Looking forward to seeing your footage. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do because I've never been. So the footage I'm going to have, I can't guarantee what it's going to look like, but I am taking my equipment because I was giving the opportunity to do so. So I actually had to pay for an extra bag on the plane, and I got an extra backpack that I just bought to carry all this shit around in. So I put some money. I bought a new lens. I bought an $800 lens to take with me. So hopefully this all pans out, man. It's not even that he had a lot. It's not okay. So Dylan says I didn't know Malcolm McLaren had anything to do with Cock Sparrer. It's not that he had a lot to do with them, from what I'm seeing here, but it does say that they, that they had met with him, and that he was considering managing them alongside the Sex Pistols. I mean, if they were, because they were around way before the '80s. It just happens that they dropped their most infamous album in '82. But let's see, in '77 they got a deal with Decca Records. They were hoping to cash in on the blooming punk movement. The first Cock Sparrer single was Runnin' Riot, released in May '77. Actually, I've talked about this before. Dude, my memory is fucked, dude. It's so bad. It did not sell well, nor did the following single, a cover of the Rolling Stones' We Love You, and Decca dropped them in 1978. The band members had already recorded an album's worth of material, which was only released in Spain as Cock Sparrer and was not officially issued in the UK until Razor Records released it in 1987 as True Grit. So I had that flip-flop. True Grit I knew about, but I thought it was their second record, but I had it flipped around because of how it all worked out. That's cool. I would love to get a copy of this True Grit or whatever, Cock Sparrer, from 70, whatever it was, 77 or 78? 78. No, hold on. 77, 87. God, doggone, man, I can't even talk. No, it was released in I don't, what does it even say? Okay, 77, the band secured a deal with Decca Records. Okay, did not sell well. Decca dropped the band 78. The band members had already recorded an album, which was released in Spain as Cock Sparrer, but okay, it doesn't really say when though. Okay, let's see here. It was 78. Okay, golly, dude. I would like to get a copy of that. That would be pretty cool. That'd be something I'd like to. That's like a Grail type record. It's probably expensive. In '81, old Cock Sparrer songs were included on several Oi compilation albums, and the interest in the band began to rise again. They reformed in 1982 with a new second guitarist. They signed to, I don't know how to say it, Career Records, which released the single England Belongs to Me. The next release was the band's debut album, Shock Troops, in 1983. So, okay, so I guess technically Shock Troops is their first record still, but it's not, right? That's a weird one. I'm just going to call it their first album because it's widely considered their first record, but I do agree it's not really their first record. It included the songs Where Are They Now, I Got Your Number, and Riot Squad, which aren't even their best songs on that record in my opinion. That's crazy, dude. The third album, Runnin' Riot in '84, was released in October of that year, '84, and after which the band ceased activity once more, although a live album was recorded around this time and released in 1987. The band formed... Okay, so they may have gotten more commercial success had they stuck it out and been able to... But that's crazy, man. Dave says, Sex Pistols were more about the image than the music. That's why I liked The Damned more when it comes to early English punk. I mean, I disagree, but, you know, I don't think either of us actually know since we weren't there. But to my understanding, the only reason they even had anything to do with image is because they were being propped up by these people. But the people in the band wanted to be in the band and play the music. At least that's what as how I understand it. Dylan says, I think Cock Sparrer would have been too smart for Malcolm to extort and manipulate. Facts. So many good songs. One of my favorites is Closing Time. Man, I wish we could play the music on here and not get it copyright claimed. It's all right. I might do a COCK SPARRER live stream tonight. What do y'all think? What if I do? I'm doing a lot of streams this night this week, excuse me, because I'm going to be out of town for a few days. But what if I did a COCK SPARRER stream tonight where we just played all COCK SPARRER songs? Noisy Beast comes in a COCK SPARRER live stream and then says, "I've never understood the appeal of COCK SPARRER. What is best recommended song to start?" I wouldn't even start with it. That's a wild ass statement. Well, you know what? No, it's not, because you're asking where to start. So I'm gonna shut up. My apologies. Sorry. They're amazing. I don't understand how you could not like them personally. But if I was gonna start, I would do what they told me to do. Start at the very beginning and just listen chronologically. I would just start with Shock Troops. They're Shock Troops. Good grief. It's a perfect record. So here's the thing though. If you want like screaming vocals, they don't have that. So some people don't. Will like that. They want like yelling vocals. They don't really have that. They just sing. Since I don't know much about that band, that would be a good live stream, says Dave. Oh, about the COCK SPARRER? That'd be dope. Yeah, I know you're being honest. That's why I said my apologies. It was just a weird way to say it from my perspective. But it's all right. I misunderstood. See? Chris Mess 13 says start with Shock Troops. I agree. Start with that. If you like that, keep going. I also like the one that's on the screen here, Forever. It's a really good record. It's probably the second best one in my opinion. Dude, every time I do this now, I see these lines in my face. I'm like, oh, I'm getting older. Ooh, I didn't used to have this. When I squinted, I didn't used to have that. My band was called Crow's Feet because I used to get them when I was young. I just said I didn't get them when I was younger. I got them at a relatively young age, but I didn't notice them because I didn't have the light on my face. I wasn't looking at a camera. But I noticed that I had crow's feet when I was like in my 20s. I was walking into a job I was working at, and it was a billiards place, and they had a reflective glass in the windows. And I remember I was walking, and I never wore sunglasses as a youngster. I looked in the windows, and I was squinting real bad. I went, "Damn, I got crow's feet," and I thought that's a good band name, hence the band. I think the vocals turned me off before. Yeah, the vocals will turn people off for sure. But if that's what you're looking for, they're not going to bring it to you. But as I got older, I when I was young, I liked COCK SPARRER because I liked bands like One Man Army, and I don't know. There's a bunch of bands like Swingin' Utters where they sing kind of more than they yell. And so when I first heard COCK SPARRER, I wasn't like in high school. I was probably like 19 or 20 when I first heard them. There was this friend of mine that I was kind of crushing on, and she had a COCK SPARRER shirt that was like sleeved, and it was just, I just saw it and I was like, that's a crazy band name, because I didn't know much about it. I didn't know the difference between English and American punk very well yet, and I went and I bought I think I might have got Shock Troops. It might have been hers even. I don't think I bought anything. I think I borrowed it. I listened to it, and at first I was kind of like, I don't get it. It took me a few, but the songs are so catchy. Like the second time I listened to it, I was already humming along, and I knew a couple of the songs from just being around. You know what I'm saying? Dylan says, "Noisy Beast. They are very catchy sing-along songs. I don't drink beer anymore, but when I listen to them, I want to drink beers, get merry, and sing along at the top of my voice." Pretty much, dude. They have like even my kids like COCK SPARRER. My daughter was like, "This band's awesome," and she's 10. So they're a band that'll make you feel better, and they'll make you want to do right by your homies, and they'll make you want to go out and make yourself look good. Like go out and do right. They make you want to do something. They make me not want to be lazy, and I love the fact that they don't have a lot of cursing in their songs. I don't know why I like that, but I just it's real obvious that they don't really curse in their songs much, and it's awesome. I don't know if they have any cursing in there. I don't recall any, but they might. They have topical stuff like "shoot 'em all" or whatever it's called. Take 'em all, take 'em all, take 'em all, shoot 'em all. What the fuck's wrong with me today? Anyways, let's see here. Okay, the band performed several reunion concerts in 1992, and in 1994 they released a new album called "Guilty as Charged." Pretty good record. In 97 they released the album Two Monkeys, one I'm not really familiar with. I'll have to get into that one tonight. Since then, COCK SPARRER has occasionally toured and performed sporadically at punk festivals, including the Wasted and Rebellion Fest. The band released their sixth studio album, Here We Stand, in November 27, and in April 28, they headlined Rebellion Vienna, and also headlined Rebellion Blackpool in August of that year. The following year, COCK SPARRER headlined the Punk and Disorderly Festival in Berlin. They also played Riot Fest in Chicago, playing at the Congress Theater on October 10th, 2009, and headlined the Metro on the 11th of that same week. So the next day. That's cool, man. 2012, they marked their 40th anniversary along with Rancid, who were celebrating their 20th anniversary. They played 5 sold-out concerts in the U.S. This is the one show that I regret missing more than anything else, period, is this. Rancid and COCK SPARRER. I would have flown out to do that. So they did 2 in Philly, 1 in Boston, 2 in San Francisco. I regret that. The band's 7th album, Forever, was released in the middle of 2017. In December of 2023, they announced they would release their 8th studio album, Hand on Heart, in April of 2024 on Cherry Red Records. The album was produced by James Bragg, who also produced their previous record, Forever. That actually checks out. In the run-up to the album's release, the band released music videos for the songs Here We Stand, With My Hand on My Heart, and I Belong to You. I Belong to You is probably my favorite song on that record. Check this out. So Dan Hardy from the UFC, he has got Blood for Blood tattoos on him, but he also used to walk out to England Belongs to Me. Take 'Em All has a long history of being sung by Major League Soccer supporter groups, including the Empire Supporters Club, Golden State Ultras, and Viking Army Supporters Club for the New York Red Bulls, and the Emerald City Supporters for the Seattle Sounders Football Club. In 2022, the Seattle supporters ceased using the song after the Robb Elementary School situation. That's pretty incredible. So they've only had, it looks like they've only had, wait, no. They've had 3 dudes that have been in the band the whole time, and then Mickey's been in the band basically the whole time. But they had a couple of people filling in on rhythm guitar throughout the years. So, pretty solid lineup of dudes. So we got, where's the, okay. I didn't know they had a 10-inch EP. I wonder if my boy Chris knows about that. He collects 10-inch records. Man, how do y'all feel about live records? I think they've gotten better over the years. I've just got this weird like feeling that I don't like them, which is stupid. Noisy B says, sorry, I'm late to this stream, but is COCK SPARRER considered oi, a genre I'm leery of due to unfortunate alignment with fascist right-wing politics? Beer drink. Well, you got it all pegged. Well, so, yeah, dude. So they're an oi band, but oi has... Oi music has almost nothing to do with that. Like, that's bonehead shit. Like, that, there's very few bands that even exist like that. Now, there are probably plenty of them, like, super deep underground bands that you can find that are into that stuff. But the vast majority of oi bands have absolutely nothing to do with that. Skinhead culture comes from Jamaica, not the far right. So, and I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I just... Skinhead culture and the far right leaning politics they are separate. Now you have guys that are into the far right stuff that also want to try to be like that's all that is. So oi music is not. What's up, Julie? How you doing? Yeah, beer drinking and sing along punk. That's what this is. I mean, just go look at who the bands that are oi bands tour with, and you can find out like what's what. But I mean, you've got bands like, go listen to like Liberty and Justice from Houston. Oi band, right? They literally have songs called Immigrant Rock and Roll. Like half their band is not white guys. Like it's just not, man, it sucks that those things are associated together because of a few people. What happened is like the media and like Hollywood heard a few stories and then took that and basically, I don't know, attached the two things and then locked them together. So every time you hear about skinhead, you hear about this. Only within like the major media outlets in Hollywood. If you go into like the actual subculture, you never hear them talked about together unless it's somebody talking shit about, rocking boneheads and getting them out of there. You know what I'm saying? So, Charles says, I'm not a live record person myself, but there are a couple good ones. Yeah, NoFX, as I heard it suck live was pretty good. Pantera 101 was pretty good, but I don't mess with those guys anymore because of some of their politics. Noisy B says, my viewpoints were possibly distorted by reading Maximum Rock and Roll fanzine back in the day. I mean, if Maximum Rock and Roll was saying that oi was just a bunch of racists, then yeah, that magazine is trash then, because that's not true. Yeah. Oi is basically street punk. Street punk is basically oi. They're very similar things, if not just the same outright. Yeah, maximum rock and roll. If that's all they said, then they don't. But I mean, look, I've heard a lot of people talk. I've read a lot of articles from like, let's say the early '80s, all the way up through the '90s, and I've read a fair bit out of Maximum Rock and Roll, and I own a few copies of that magazine still. But like, a lot of people from, specifically people from California, like Berkeley and in the Bay Area, a lot of the, because they were young, a lot of the young kids, and they were like, there's multiple classes of punk, and I mean classes as in like, let's say groups. There's multiple types of punk groups. You've got like the drunk punks, you've got like the straight edge kids, you got the young nerdy uh like uber liberal punk types that don't wear any of the mohawks and shit. Like there's all kinds of different groups, right? Um, well, if that's what they said, then I would call them trash. But it's up to you. I mean, you don't have to agree. I don't care. I don't really care about maximum rock and roll. It's not my punk rock bible. I don't give a shit. I'm not that old. I'm 43, man. Like I didn't grow up, and I also grew up in Houston, so I didn't have maximum rock and roll like at the ready. I just, a lot of stuff I've read from them has been like snooty, pretentious stuff, and then I have read where they just, I don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say here. Um, David Jones says, listen to Tear Up and Load, two awesome Oi bands. I'm not familiar with those bands, but my point was is if Maximum Rock and Roll, like I feel like you took half of what I was saying and not the other half. If Maximum Rock and Roll was saying that Oi bands were just a bunch of racists, then yes, I would consider Maximum Rock and Roll trash. Now, if that's not what they said, and you're just saying like I was that, that's how I grew, learned about punk. I don't know. It felt like to me you were saying Maximum Rock and Roll was the reason that you thought that Oi bands were racist. And if that's the case, then I would say that Maximum Rock and Roll is a trash rag. But that's okay. I read trash rags. I watch trash movies, man. It is what it is. It's just my way of saying that that's stupid. It's garbage. That's a dumb way. That's a dumb take. Um, Oi bands are basically just bands that are more concerned about working class and maybe drinking and fighting in soccer than they are. I mean, there is a difference between like an Oi band and say like the Casualties. It's more like an Oi band might be talking about a union and soccer, whereas the Casualties is more, not the Casualties, but like, let's say any Dead Kennedys, any political punk band, right? So there are differences, but so Christmas says I don't remember that take from Maximum Rock and Roll. Bruce Roars reviewed tons of Oi bands. Good. Then what I said still makes sense because I said if it's this, then it means that. Or excuse me, if they said this, then I feel this way. If they didn't say that, then I don't feel that way. But I think I was pretty clear about that. I wasn't actually trying to sound as disrespectful as that came out. So my apology, Noisy Beast, wasn't trying. Man, I've had to apologize to you twice already today. Man, we're gonna have one of those relationships, huh? It's okay with me. I am very far from perfect. So, you ever notice that a lot of the I don't know why it's just popped in my head right now, but I'll be doing like a little bit of research or whatever on like like let's use like old hardcore crust bands or whatever, like yes and no. I mean, they had two albums and then they broke bad and went super right. You know what I'm saying? But I don't talk about or discuss on this channel that band ever really. So, um, Christmas says it right here. Screwdriver is a bonehead band. They're different. They may sound similar, but they're different. I mean, there's metal bands that have that kind of stuff in there too, and I wouldn't call metal a racist genre. I'm sure there's punk bands that have that kind of politics, and they're not. Punk's not a racist genre. So I mean, I think in every genre, you're gonna have some bad people, but the aesthetics of Oi and Skinhead, they're a little more intimidating, so it's much easier to believe a negative stereotype, I would say. But it also takes a little bit of just being like, oh, what does this person say to me? Why? Okay, you just told me that this person does this. Well, what's your evidence? Well, I just heard that. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't just hear things and then take it for truth. So, uh, RAC band is what I was gonna say, but they were an Oi band when they first started. But yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. There's this. It's everywhere, man. You can't escape that kind of garbage. But here's the thing, though, is that none of it's the stuff that's popular because the popular people, the general public, doesn't put up with that crap. General public doesn't want to hear that mess. So none of those bands. What it is that there's people like that all over the place, and those people like all kinds of music. So yeah, yeah, you'll like COCK SPARRER. I would say here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you you don't have to be careful when listening to this stuff because you can get there's people that'll just intentionally lie to you and try to get you into some stuff that's gnarly, but the vast majority, and I'm talking like 95% of this stuff I've ever, maybe more than that, that I've ever heard has zero to do with racism. More or less, it's got something to do with anti-racism. It's got something to do with unity. Skinhead culture comes from Jamaica. Look for terms like sharp. If you see sharp, that's a good thing. You want people that are claiming sharp. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, sharp means skinhead against racial prejudice. Denise Lopez, what's up? How you doing? Says, punk rock bowling tip, stay hydrated. I thought I had it in the bag because I'm from a desert town and I wasn't drinking alcohol and I got a heat stroke on the second day. So I don't drink alcohol either, which is good. I plan on having a margarita just because I want to get a little buzz because I don't drink. But I am taking an empty bottle with me that I'm going to just keep full. Yeah, I would say the whole entire Shock Troops album is your best bet. This album, Forever, the one that's on the screen, is really good too. Man, I hope you come back to the streams, Noisy Beast. Yeah, sharp is like that's a good direction. If you see that on something, you're probably headed in the right direction. But I hope you come back and hang out, man. There's all kinds of stuff. I said, man, I don't know who you are, lady, man, whatever. But homie, I hope you come back because we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here. We do live streams typically on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Friday nights. But right now I'm just doing extra live streams to talk about bands from punk rock bowling because I want to celebrate them. I'm going to go see them. I'm very excited. And I've never seen the band play, so. Yeah, my favorite COCK SPARRER album, it's Shock Troops, but Forever is a close second. I really enjoy this record a lot. I want to go listen to Two Monkeys now. I need to, I feel like I should just, oh shit, I got to go to the post office. Okay, so, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out here. I'm going to run to the post office real quick, and I might be back. Either way, COCK SPARRER is an excellent band. They're going to be at Punk Rock Bowling. We are going to all meet up there. Anybody that's from Punk Rock Review, we're going to meet up at Punk Rock Bowling. So if you are going and you're from this community, please hit me up on Instagram or whatever. I would love to talk, get a photo for my Instagram. It's not for you, it's for me. I want to get photos with people that watch my videos. So Grade 2, Bishop's Green, 45 Adapters are excellent bands. Bullshit Detector, Liberty and Justice are also excellent bands. We've also got Percale, the Templars. You could go with Lion's Law, Reeks, The Stress. There's a lot of really great Oi bands. Syndrome 81, the French are mixing Oi with post-punk and new wave. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. I don't really listen to The Exploited if I'm honest, so I don't know. We're Coming Back is a fantastic song. But I'm going to get out of here so I go to the post office. What I think I might do is come back later and do a COCK SPARRER music live stream. What do y'all think? If I do it, it'll be solely about COCK SPARRER, okay? So if you see another live stream pop up today, it is COCK SPARRER and COCK SPARRER only. That's it. Or maybe Oi bands, but maybe I should do punk rock bowling bands only. It's going to be heavily inspired by COCK SPARRER, I can tell you that. All right.